The Houston Texans look to stay undefeated and move to 3-0 as they head up north to take on the also 2-0 and undefeated Minnesota Vikings. This is a fun matchup that when the schedule came out, probably overlooked this one, but it has lots of extra juice to it with both these teams being 2-0 and Minnesota coming off a big upset against San Francisco. If the Texans want to go to 3-0 and they want to walk out of Minnesota with a victory, I've got some do's and don'ts for them in this game. And I got a food review for you at the end. Let's start with a don't. Don't force it on the ground, okay? Joe Mixon's doubtful in this matchup. Dameon Pierce is out for this one. So you don't have your main running backs in this one. Minnesota's got a pretty darn decent defense when it comes to stopping the run. Don't force it. You don't have Joe Mixon to make something out of nothing like he did in week one a couple of times and like he's capable of doing. It's going to be some conglomeration, some mix of Cam Akers, Dare Ogunbowale, British Brooks, and maybe J.J. Taylor if the team brings him up from the practice squad. So you don't have your typical running back duo that you leaned on in week one, and you don't have Joe Mixon. And I know Cam Akers had a really nice preseason, but he played against approximately 2 starters. I mean, it wasn't like he played with starters against starters in the preseason. Now, there was a moment in the Bears game where the Texans beat the Bears. There was a moment where Akers was rolling, and he had a drive where he had all the carries and all the plays except for one pass play to Dalton Schultz, and that was a really good drive. Unfortunately for Akers, he fumbled the football at the goal line when the Texans really could have put the Bears away there in the middle of the fourth quarter. He fumbled the football. So there's concerns about his ability to take care of the football. And Dare Ogunbowale is the pass blocking running back for this team. They love to give him the opportunities to protect CJ Stroud from the running back spot. It's a ferocious Minnesota pass rush. So you may not see all Cam Akers. It's going to be a lot of Cam Akers, but it's not all Cam Akers in this matchup. So don't force it on the ground without Joe Mixon in this matchup. The good part about that is you do get Juice Scruggs back. He's set to play after practicing a couple of times this week and missing last week's game. So Scruggs back in the lineup. Akers has got a little something to him. Let's see if the Texans can get enough on the ground, but don't force it, okay? You don't have to run on first down every time. You don't have to turn around and hand it to Akers. You got these really impressive wide receivers, and Dalton Schultz is a fun tight end. Put it in the air a little bit. And that takes me into my first do in this one. Do get Diggs and Dell going in this matchup. There's a triple D for you. Do, Diggs, Dell. All right, that's what the Texans got to do on offense. Nico Collins is going to get going every week. I trust Nico Collins to be a factor each and every week. Even if the statistics go down, I believe in the impact of whatever he's going to do in a game. But Stefon Diggs going back to Minnesota for the very first time in his career since he had that somewhat uncomfortable breakup with the Minnesota Vikings. Okay, that one clearly, to me, looks like one where Stefon Diggs is going to get going. You get him some work there over the middle. Let him attack some of the guys that they may put on him when he's lined up in the slot. This is a really fun front seven that the Vikings have, but I don't love their secondary. Stefon Diggs should have an opportunity to really get after this secondary, and if they want to sit back with those safeties deep on the field, put it to Stefon Diggs over the middle and let him get to work. And for Tank Dell, a little bit too much gadgety stuff here early on for Tank Dell. Haven't just used him as like a regular old wide receiver like they did a bunch last year when he was on pace for 12 touchdowns and 1,200 yards before he got hurt against the Denver Broncos. Let's get Tank Dell going a little bit too if I'm the Texans. That's what I'm thinking to myself is, how do I get Stefon Diggs and Tank Dell really integrated into this offense and not end around because the team's having trouble running the football, so you hand it to Dell or you hand it to Diggs. No. Let Tank Dell go in there, attack some of their defensive backs, and get going in week 3 like he did a year ago. It took him a little bit to get his feet wet last year. And yeah, if Dell had caught that one pass that he dropped over the middle, he probably has like a 50-yard touchdown. And his stats are really similar to Stefon Diggs. And he's got a touchdown, and then Nico has a touchdown, and then Diggs has 2 touchdowns. And we're not even worried about getting things spread out to the wide receivers, but just a little bit more Tank Dell and obviously Stefon Diggs back in Minnesota. Get those 2 guys going. That's a big do for the Texans in this matchup. A moment here for my friends at Prize Picks. Prize Picks, the best and easiest way to play daily fantasy. Right now, play your first $5, get $50 when you use the code STOOTS, S-T-O-O-T-S. It's code STOOTS, S-T-O-O-T-S. Use the link in the description down below to check it out. It's so easy and fun to do Prize Picks. I mean, look at all the various fun NFL things you've got, but you could do college football. You could do baseball. These are just what's popular, but look at all the different stats. All you've got to do is predict more or less, or receiving yards, rushing and receiving touchdowns, even sacks for the defenders. If you've been paying attention this week, you know we're well on our way to winning. All we need is Tank Dell to score on Sunday, and we win that entry. How about this one? J.K. Dobbins and that freebie square, kind of with a freebie. You got to get more than half a passing yard. I believe in Caleb Williams. You got that for you as well. Look how easy it is to get going on Prize Picks. Use the code. Check it out in the link in the description down below. You won't be disappointed. It's the best and easiest way to play daily fantasy. Here's a don't for you. Don't let the other guys beat you in this matchup. The Vikings have some standout players on this team. No more standout than Justin Jefferson, one of the best wide receivers in all of football. I feel like it's important that multiple Texans players throughout the week have mentioned Justin Jefferson is 50% of the offense for the Minnesota Vikings. So he's going to be productive. He's going to get his. They're going to line him up all over the field. He's going to play on the left side. He's going to play on the right side. He's going to line up in the slot. Justin Jefferson cannot be stopped. You can try to slow him down, but he's going to be productive. But focusing on him, you can't let some of these other guys beat you on the Minnesota Vikings when it comes to their offense. They're going to be without Jordan Addison, who was supposed to be their number 2 wide receiver, but injuries have derailed the start to his season. But they had a guy who was a late-round pick from a couple of years ago named Jalen Naylor. They call him Speedy, and Speedy played really well last year for the Minnesota Vikings. So don't let Speedy get going. Don't let this rushing attack that's ripping off 5 yards a carry at different times. Don't let this rushing attack get going either. Hey, if Justin Jefferson beats you, you tip your cap, you move on down the road. That happens sometimes. But if you're walking around and Speedy, the late round pick from a couple of years ago, had a big day against you, or Aaron Jones and Ty Chandler with a shaky interior offensive line in Minnesota really put it on you, I don't know if you'd be able to stomach that one if you're the Houston Texans. That applies to the defense as well. Jonathan Grenard is one of their big pass rushers, and Harrison Smith is their big-time safety who's played a ton of football. Those guys, they're going to be productive. They're going to be guys that you have to account for, but don't let the other guys on the Minnesota defense take care of you. Don't let their defensive backs who aren't Smith, who are not as impressive as him, get after you. Don't let a guy like Andrew Van Ginkel, who's been a career role player, turn into a role player that made the big play to beat you in this game. Don't let the other guys beat you if you're the Houston Texans. And finally, do heat up Sam Darnold. Put the pressure on the Vikings quarterback. The San Francisco 49ers last week did not put a ton of pressure on Sam Darnold. Yes, they had a handful of sacks and they got some things going with just their defensive line, but when the defensive line didn't get home, there was a lot of just sitting back waiting, and Kevin O'Connell, the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, drew up a lot of easy stuff for Sam Darnold. It was disgustingly easy to watch him hit some of these wide open guys out in space because he had time. Darnold, right now, tied for the most time to throw or time in the pocket of any of the quarterbacks in football. Darnold, right now, one of the least blitzed quarterbacks in all of football. He's only been blitzed 8 times in 2 weeks. feel like the Texans blitzed Caleb Williams 8 times in the first quarter last week. Now, the Texans don't have to always send a blitz, and this is a different defensive front from a talent perspective than what the Vikings dealt with last week. Yeah, Baby Bosa is really good, but he didn't have as much next to him as, say, Danielle Hunter on one edge, Will Anderson on the other, Mario Edwards playing with his hair on fire right now, Foley Fatukasi affecting things. Like, the Texans' defensive line is rolling. So let's see what D'Amico Ryans can dial up and scheme up. And they like to send Azeez Al-Shire on a blitz sometimes. Jalen Petrie will come roping in there every now and then from his nickel corner / star linebacker / whatever it is you call Jalen Petrie's position. So heat up Sam Darnold. If he has to hurry up, make a decision, he will throw an interception. This guy in his career averages about an interception per game. He's thrown an interception in each of the first 2 games, and he's not even played an elite cornerback duo like Derek Stingley and Kamari Lassiter are off to that start. They're off to an elite start here through 2 games. At the cornerback spot, Lassiter, the rookie from Georgia, has been fantastic. Obviously, we know what Derek Stingley brings to the table. Will be interesting to see what those guys can do when maybe Jefferson gets targeted in a little bit of an emergency because Darnold's got to get rid of it, or if Jefferson's taken care of on that play and Darnold tries to get it out there to somebody else on the offense. Maybe it's time for Stingley or Lassiter or one of those safeties to make a big play and make the Vikings pay for putting it in the air. Those are the do's and the don'ts of the Texans matchup against the Minnesota Vikings. What are your do's and don'ts for this matchup? Let me know in the comment section down below. On your way down there, throw me a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Don't forget to catch SNL, my collaboration with the Locker Room's Landry Locker, each and every Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, 8 a.m. on Monday, 4 p.m. on Friday. Just hang around the channel. You'll see them as well. Also, down in the description, don't forget to check out our friends at Autograph. It's for real fans to get real big rewards. A free-to-download, free-to-use app. And when you sign up, use my code STOOTS, S-T-O-O-T-S. Sign up with my code STOOTS, S-T-O-O-T-S. And what Autograph is, it's your one-stop shop for all your content. You see my videos in there as well. The more you read, the more you listen, the more you watch, the more you earn rewards that you can turn into tickets or discounts or all those various things. Autograph, free to use, free to download. Check it out. You will not be disappointed by that. And, oh, by the way, when you buy tickets through Autograph to all of your favorite teams, no fees when you use the Autograph ticketing portion as well. Free to download app, no fees on your tickets. I mean, what more can you ask for? Use the code STOOTS, S-T-O-O-T-S, when you sign up. Appreciate you watching the video. If you're only here for the football, that's it. Thank you. Appreciate you stopping by. If you want to hang around for the food review, well, it's coming your way right now. Food review time. I love chips. Salt and vinegar is probably my favorite, but I'll eat a Dorito, Cool Ranch or nacho cheese. I'm not picky about it. I love barbecue chips. I just love chips. And I love H-E-B when they do some of their goofy outside of the box flavors. This one's not that crazy, but man, is it a fun one. And I can't wait to try this one. It is a limited edition honey Sopapilla tortilla chip. This sounds so good. So dang good. Great job, H-E-B. I do have a little gripe here. Look how big this bag is. Look at where the chips stop. Huh? We got this much room. Let's get, hold on. I got a ruler here. There is, let's see here. There's 8 1/4 inches of unused bag space where we could have some chips. I'm not saying it needs to be up to the top, but we could do better than less than half of the bag in chips. Okay, so there's my gripe. Here's a little trick for you. Chips that have seasonings. This doesn't apply to just your regular, like your regular Lay's potato chips, but chips that have seasoning. Do this before you open your bag up. Turn it upside down. Give it a little shake. It redistributes that seasoning throughout the bag. Let's crack these suckers open. And give it, oh, yeah, you get that Sopapilla. Yeah, oh, man, it smells It smells just like your tortilla chips are too close to your sopapillas. That's exactly what it smells like. Let me get a really dusty one here. Okay, you can see some of the cinnamon on there. You probably can't see it on the camera. Yeah, you can see some of the dusting cinnamon on there. Give it a little smell. It doesn't smell. It smells like a tortilla chip. All right. I mean, these are going to be messy. I can already tell it's going to be messy on the fingers. Let's give it a shot here. I eat chips, whole chip at a time. So here we go. That's good. I like that. Okay, I got to get another chip in here. But you get the sopapilla, the honey sopapilla flavor right at the beginning. You still get the corn tortilla finish there at the very end. But you can see there's definitely some cinnamon and some sugar on these. It's not overwhelming. I was thinking maybe they were going to push it too far on this, so it's not overwhelming. Let me give it another try here. One more really seasoned one here. Okay. If sopapillas are your absolute favorite, I don't know that you're going to like these because you get a hint of what a sopapilla flavor is, but it does not like really dominate the flavor profile of the chip. It very much tastes like some tortilla chips that have had some cinnamon sugar added to them. Now, it's not exactly like, say, just your regular old tortilla chip. There's a little bit of extra care they've put into it to kind of give it a little bit more sopapilla flavor, but it's not overwhelming. $3 for the bag. If it's worth a try. And I wonder if this would be really good in like a light sweet dip. Like maybe if you had like the stuff that comes with fruit, like a fruit dip with this, or if you ever make raspberry chipotle dip, you take some cream cheese, you put some raspberry chipotle in there, you whip it up. And if you made that, like this would be really good with that. You could also make s'mores nachos with these. So you put those on the bottom, sprinkle some marshmallows and a couple of little pieces of a Hershey bar on there, and just stick it in the oven just a little bit under the broiler, and that would be an interesting way to do it. This would not be good with salsa. Don't put this with salsa. Okay, that would be a really weird flavor combination. Okay, score incoming on the limited edition HEB honey sopapilla restaurant style tortilla chips. I'm going to give these a 7.1. If it's your favorite dessert, you probably are not going to like these as much. It is not an overwhelming flavor. It is good. It is different. And it has a place in a very particular way in, say, your party setting. And it's just a little sweet bite as well. You just wanted to walk by at the party and grab a chip that gives you something different from a savory. That'd be a good change up there. But 7.1 here on the limited edition honey sopapilla tortilla chips from HEB. It's worth a try. It's not a strong recommendation. The scoring goes from 1 to 11, 11 being the Tom Brady, the greatest of all time. So 7.1 on the HEB limited edition honey sopapilla tortilla chips. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below if you get to try them.